So Aspinall versus John Jones. I got it 50-50, guys. This is going to be a very tough one. My heart says John Jones is going to win this thing, but just by a slight margin. I think it goes all the way. I don't think either man finds a way to stop each other. The thing is, though, is with John Jones, he studies his opponent and he's very creative and all that, and that's what sort of creates the opportunity for him to really capitalize on his opponent's weakness. The only issue is here is that Aspinall has very limited fight time. Like he ends all of his fights super early, and there's not much of his game that's exposed. So what we're gonna see here is, I think John is gonna really take him into deep waters, take him into the later rounds, and he's really gonna test out all aspects of his game. So I think coming out into the first and second round for sure, what we're gonna see is John testing things to see what works, what doesn't work. And, it's going to be very interesting because, like, no one could really figure out, Aspinall at this point because he's just so fast. He like, for a heavyweight, he's very lucid, he's very fast, he's very, he's explosive as well. So, for Aspinall to win this thing, he's going to have to take advantage of the fact that he's younger and he's explosive and that, he has that the element of the unknown, the element of surprise. And so what I'm thinking here is Aspinall's gonna have to do his usual stuff and do what he can do and study John Jones and you know capitalize on whatever he can to get John Jones out in the first or second round before John gets the chance to even understand Aspinall and to expose or even to reveal any weaknesses in his game potentially. So it's going to be like a chess match, I think. So the keys to victory here is for John Jones is to make the fight last as long as he can, and within the first two rounds, figure out Aspinall, figure out what he can do that'll work. Whether if it's his teeps, whether if it's the knee kicks, whether it's keeping his distance, because he's got really long arms, whether if it's outboxing him and being able to defend any sort of type of takedown and staying off the fence. Because Aspinall's really, really skilled in jiu-jitsu, and the last thing you want is to be on your back against a guy like that. So, I mean, he has his work cut out for him, but I really think, judging by, how Aspinall, because it's even hard to even judge his weaknesses, because he doesn't have that much fight time, but what I would think John has to do is to just keep his distance and figure out what works. I think personally, lowering his, so you can't do the same thing all the time with Aspinall because he's also pretty high IQ fighter. He's a smart guy, so John has to find a way to take it as like, so for sure, take leg kick him, have that threat to where you're kicking his knees and whatnot. But I also like to see John take away his gas tank to remove that explosive power and that danger, in the mid to later rounds. So, once John's able to do that, he's going to be able to slow him down to his pace. And, we'll be able to see, anything, any vulnerabilities in his game, because Aspinall could very well be one of those fighters that starts off really, really strong and, doesn't have, I'm not saying he does, but I'm just saying he could potentially not have the cardio or the endurance to go in those later rounds or to be as impressive in those later rounds as we see with a lot of fighters, especially in boxing, right? Like up and coming fighters, you'll see like, they'll be very good in the first, second, third round, maybe fourth round, they'll be knocking everybody out. But if you take them into the later rounds, it's like, uh-oh, things start to slow down, especially in the heavyweight division. It's a lot like that. So a lot of guys lose that explosive power, after round 6 in boxing, or and even in the UFC or in MMA, a lot of guys lose that explosive power after the second round. Like, if you guys could recall, Stipe versus Ngannou 1, Ngannou lost a lot of that, a lot of his edge. He was knocking everybody out, in the early round. Well, most of his fights, he was getting rid of them before like nothing ever went to decision, really. It was very rare, right? And then he got exposed, and it turned out, gas tank, wasn't all there, and his style and his physique takes a lot of energy. So I'm thinking it's gonna be the same thing with Aspinall, and we're gonna see if John Jones could expose that or even reveal that. I don't know, but and then on the flip side for Aspinall, he's gonna have to use his physique. He's gonna have to use his primal advantage, which is his age, his speed, his explosiveness in those early rounds when John doesn't really know, what's up. He's not gonna know what he's truly capable of. So I really think here the key to victory for Aspinall is to just go hard in the first and second round and to see what sticks, because you know if history repeats itself, it could be one and done in the first or second round with a nice 1-2 combination, because his 1-2s are pretty solid. So I have it 50-50. I'm not sure where this is gonna go. Just to recap, I think John needs to make the fight last as long as possible, go all 5 rounds, and best him, and to see, after round 2, where is Aspinall's gas tank. And during round 1 and 2, he's gonna have to probe him, keep his distance, defend himself from, keep himself from going to the having his back against the cage, and to take away some of that leg speed, some of that explosiveness, and also some of his cardio. So going to the body and to the legs. I wouldn't be going to the head much, because Aspinall jumps back and forth a lot, and his hands are he fights very defensive. He's very good. His defense is up there, and he's a tough, very tough opponent. And for Aspinall, just to recap, I would say he has to just not let everything out there, but to keep the pace as high as he can, because he doesn't want this fight to go long. Well, no fighter ideally wants the fight to go extremely long, because then you can start to get studied, right? So I think if Aspinall could repeat history and just get him out in 1-2 hits, in the first round or second round, then I think it'll be great for him. But in order for him to do that, he's gonna have to use his speed, his explosiveness. He's gonna have to be jumpy. For him, they're relatively the same height, so it's just a matter of Aspinall getting into the inside and putting John in uncomfortable situations and doing what he can do, which I mean, like putting John against the fence, keeping John there, smothering him, putting John on his back. Things of that nature. He's gonna have to just close the distance and not let John play his game, and not let John figure him out. Pretty much. So that's what I got for you guys for today. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you think is gonna win. Personally, now I think John could weather the storm. Personally, this is just my personal opinion. He has that slight edge, and that it'll go to decision. I don't think no guy is gonna. There's not going to be a finish in this fight, but that's just me personally. So let me know what you guys think. Have a great day, and catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.